So I have a favorite quote that I want to share with you, and it's pretty simple in its meaning. And it goes, "You win, you learn, but you never lose." And it's something that I've kind of embodied in my time in sports and even outside of sports. There's a lot of things in life where we want the best for ourselves and we want to win everything, and we're all competitive. And I think as athletes, we have that competitive drive and that want to be perfect and that want to be all everything. And sometimes it's hard for us to understand and internalize a loss, because ultimately we're playing a game, and somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But there's so many people that have asked me over the years with all of the games, and especially with winning a silver medal at the Olympics, how does it feel to lose the gold? And it's not about winning and losing for me. It's about what I can take away from it. And I think that has helped me kind of grow as an athlete, grow as a person, understanding that even in the loss, and yes, it's hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy to lose. I'm not a very good loser, but in that respect and in that light, knowing that I've learned something and I can better myself the next time. And it's the same thing with life and mistakes. And many of us will hear this from parents or family members. And, you live your life and you learn from your mistakes. And it's the same exact thing in sports. A loss can be chalked up as a mistake, but it's only detrimental to you if you don't learn from it and you continue to make the same mistakes. And I think that's one thing that was kind of embodied with the U.S. team, and as everyday training and in games and stuff, we always really focused on, we're not going to win every point, but we're going to do everything we can in our power to win the point. And when we don't, we'll figure out why, and we can change and make ourselves better and thrive and grow in that respect. So, that's my big takeaway from my quote that I love. And, it pushes me not only in sports, but also in life. And, so you win some, you learn, but you never lose anything. So I want to share with you guys a little bit about my growing up and kind of where I come from to better understand the experiences that I've been through and how much I view myself as being fortunate. Grew up, younger sister. I don't want to say I lived in the shadows. I never lived in the shadows, but I wasn't very social as a kid. I was very much a homebody. My mom always tells me I was attached to her hip, doing baking, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't one that was kind of a go-getter out there in the neighborhood playing with the kids. I was always very shy and very timid. And even till this day, I'm very shy and very timid with people I don't know. So sometimes they think I'm mean, but, it's fun. And I have had and still have body image issues. I always have. In all the teams I've played on, there's always been a coach or someone that has commented on my size, and my body is not right for volleyball, or I'm too big for volleyball. I should lose weight and it'd be better on me. And it's not easy to constantly be second guessing what you look like or how you feel. So I dealt a lot with depression issues and not feeling good enough. And, and that's another thing. You always have coaches telling you, you won't amount to anything. You won't be good enough. You shouldn't reach for that. And God, I can only imagine where I'd be if I listened to them. And, I knew there was something better for me, and I wanted something better for me. And I saw the opportunities that lied in front of me, that were within my grasp. And all I had to do was work hard for them. It's not easy going to practice every day and working your hardest, and then having somebody tell you that you're not going to make it, or you're not going to cut it, or you're going to sit on the bench. I didn't play. I started playing volleyball my junior year in high school. And when I say started playing, I started practicing, because I didn't play. I was on the bench. And albeit, like, my team in high school was phenomenal. The girls were really good. And I was just learning, but I loved it. I took to it like a fish in water. Like, it was so much fun for me to be around the girls and to learn new things and the mechanics behind it. And, maybe my learning curve wasn't like theirs was. But I never gave up. I kept pushing. I kept wanting to learn. I kept being curious about different things. Um, and in that I had fun, and I built the relationships and I built the friendships with the people that were meaningful. But it wasn't easy. I mean, it's not, and like I said, it's not easy being told you're not good enough and then questioning your self-worth. And and it trickles over, and it's not just sports, or maybe it's outside of sports and you can find an outlet in sports. Because I know for me, when I'm on the court, I'm the happiest I can ever be. Um, I feel free. Like nobody can judge me. Like it's me and my teammates against the opponents, and half of the opponents are always my friends. But it's being in that moment, and the world doesn't matter. And I think that's what I loved so much about sports, and for me in particular volleyball, because that was my vehicle that I chose. Um, but it's just being able to be whatever you want, and to exceed others' expectations and exceed your own expectations. I mean, I've done things that I never in my wildest dreams would have seen myself traveling around the world and competing in the Olympic Games. That sense of pride that it gives you, and now looking back and all the criticism that I got growing up, and how shy I was and how hard it was and how much I focused on school and not on boys, because that wasn't the right thing for a young lady to do. And although at some points I feel like I missed out at that time and I didn't understand, and I would get mad because I wanted to be social. I wanted to go to the school dances, but nobody ever asked me. Um, and now it's hard. It's hard at that age, and going through college and trying to find your niche. Um, but I found it with sports. I found it with volleyball. I found it in the other athletes, and all the way through, like even in the training center at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado. Like the best times is sitting in the calf outside of training and just making friends with everybody, because we're all there with a common goal. We've all had to sacrifice huge amounts of things in our lives to be where we were. And it just builds a bond, and it's so cool. But, growing up, it's not easy. But when you can find an outlet like sports, um, it's a wild ride, and it's so cool. Hey, everybody. My name is Heather Bown, and some of you may recognize me from the U.S. national team. I competed for the U.S. team from 1999 until 2012, and was fortunate enough to be a part of 3 Olympic Games, bringing home silver in Beijing, so it was really cool. I'm originally California girl, born and raised. Hometown is Yorba Linda, California, which is kind of near Disneyland, if anybody knows about that. And I grew up and lived in the same little town my whole life. My parents moved from one side to the other. So about 5th grade, I switched schools and got to make new friends and learn the other side of town. But it wasn't until I went to college with volleyball that I really got to get out and see things and kind of experience the world. And kind of from that point on, I never looked back. And it's been an amazing ride. And, my parents still live there. They miss me. And I have an older sister who I followed through high school and everything, in sports and whatnot. And they've been my support system and kind of my grounding all the years that I've been overseas. And I've had the opportunity to play, I think it's 15, 14 seasons in foreign leagues. And the majority of it was in Italy. I started there in 2000. After the Sydney Olympics, and competed there in that league for different teams for about 10 years. And then from there went and lived in Istanbul, Turkey, played for Azerbaiji. And then after that went to Baku, Azerbaijan, and then followed that up with a year in Kazan, Russia, playing for Kazan, in which we won the Super League championship, which was really cool. And then from there, I wanted to broaden my horizons, so I went and, played a year in China and got a taste of the Asian style of the game, and experienced living in China and living in Shanghai, and It was just really cool. I've had so many wonderful experiences being able to use volleyball kind of as my guide through it all. And even all the years in Italy, it was a lot about the playing and a lot about being on the court, but more so, I think it's the lessons that I learned and the places that I got to see and the people that I got to meet along the way that made the journey really worth it. So that's a little bit about me, and we will go from there. So I was fortunate enough to attend the University of California, Santa Barbara to start off my university and college career. And from there, I transferred to the University of Hawaii at Manoa and had 2 years at each institution. Had my undergrad degree in psychology, which was really cool. And I had always wanted to be a sports psychologist and working with athletes. I find our minds fascinating. I think we put ourselves through so much more than the average person, and our mental strength is just phenomenal and amazing to me. And so I loved that, and that was what I kind of wanted to study for that. But since then life changes, so I am now working on a master's degree in marketing and project management, and keeping in line with sports and all of the things and the attributes that I've learned over the years with the time management and the teamwork and the team aspect. I thrive in that, and I love that, and I want to be able to do that throughout my life, whether it's in sports or whether it's in a normal everyday job. But other than that, when I'm not reading for school and I'm not doing kind of extracurricular charity stuff, I love reading and just kind of being in nature. I've challenged myself this year to run a marathon, so it's been fun trying to do that and get back into stuff, and just finding different ways to challenge myself on a daily basis. It's something that us as athletes, we do all the time, and now doing it on my own, it's fun to have the newfound appreciations for all of the hard work I've put in over my career, and now to do it on a fun aspect and not so much on a competitive do or die scenario. So it's been fun, but those are probably my biggest accomplishments as far as getting my college degree and continuing school, and it's been real cool. So, proudest moment for me, I think it might be a little bit silly, but I think everybody wants to assume it's winning an Olympic medal, where that's really cool and kind of validates the amount of time you put into working towards something. I think my proudest moment actually comes when I'm coaching, and you're working with an athlete that is struggling, or you see something in them and they're struggling with it, and you help them with their challenges and they catch on and they get it, and you just see that moment that it clicks, and those are pretty cool. I think those are my proudest moments, and I can only imagine, I'm not a mother, but I could only imagine the pride that parents feel for their kids when they see them with their struggles, and then they see them accomplish whatever goal it is that they've set out to do. And it's maybe on the level of that. I feel like a little mother hen with the athletes that I work with, and it's inspiring to me to see them struggle at such a young age and still fight to get what they need and to figure it out, and kind of you give them a little bit and then you kind of step back, and when you step back and really see them figure it out, there's just that sense of pride that you get that you helped them in a difficult time. And I think those are my proudest moments above any accolade or accomplishment that I've done. It's when I'm helping someone and I see them get it, and it's really inspiring. So my biggest failure, nobody likes failure. I'm not sure. I don't really feel like and this is not to be uppity, but I don't really know that I've failed in life. And I think it goes back to my quote, like I don't think anybody really fails in life as long as they can take something from the experience. Um, I've been at the highest highs and the lowest lows in my career, whether it's playing for a championship and losing, playing for an Olympic gold and losing, um, being cut from the national team, making it through a quad and then not making the team in the end. A lot of people would see those as failures, and I don't. I see them as stepping stones, and I see them as points of growth for me. To know what to do next time, to know how to learn, to remember how it feels, and not want to feel that way again. All of those moments, I think it's a perception thing. I think some people will see that, oh, well, she failed, well, she didn't get that, and that's what she set out to do. But I think sometimes life kind of throws you curveballs, and it's not so much you fail at something. It's just there's something different out there for you, and then that's what is intended for you. And so it's a tough one to deal with failure, and I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, and it's not so much the action of failing, but it's the aftermath of dealing with it and being able to be okay with it. I think that sticks around, and when you can kind of figure out a healthy way to deal with it. And I think with me and the positions I've been in and the situations that I've found myself in when I'm not quite reaching the goal I originally set out for, you just kind of got to change your path. And it's not the end of the world at that moment, and it's not a failure unless you don't learn from it. And I've been pretty astute to be able to learn from a lot of the situations I've been in over the years, and the experiences that I've been able to have. So I think I've learned a lot. I don't know that I've failed a lot. So best advice that I've ever received. I'd have to say on a personal level, it was from my great grandmother, and she was actually on her last days of life. And I went and I sat in there, and I held her hand, and you have those last minute talks where it's time to get everything out that they've always wanted to get out. And I'm sitting there talking to her, and I was in high school at the time, and she said to me that no matter what I do in life, and she's my family, so she, of course, she believes I can do anything I want, but she said no matter what you do in life, you need to take care of yourself first. And and it's true. And whether you're on a sport, as far as an individual sport, whether you're on a sport with a team, whether you're working, whatever it is, like, you have to look out for number one. And I don't want to say that meaning like you just don't care about anybody else. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think that there's so much out there to be coming at you, that sometimes you just kind of need to be like, what do I need right now? How is this going to help me? There's a lot of times in life where things will happen, and I just kind of sit there and I'm like, okay, is this going to matter in a year to me, to my life? Is this going to matter to me? And it always goes back to what my grandmother told me, take care of yourself, get an education, don't depend on someone else. And because then you have the strength in yourself. And no matter whether it's relationship, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever it is, no matter who you decide to allow to be your partner in life, they just add to your strength, and you don't feel like you're dependent on them. And that's one of probably the most empowering things I've ever been told. And you don't think about it when you're a kid, and when you're going through all those changes in life. You want someone to make it better, and sometimes that someone to make it better is you. And so that was probably the most thoughtful and useful thing anybody's ever said to me. And that was long time ago, and it's still forefront in my mind, and a lot of the things I do and a lot of the choices I make and the opportunities that come to me. It's not always for the benefit of someone else, but how I truly feel about it and how it's going to affect my life in a positive or negative way. You never know kind of what opportunities come up and where they'll take you, what roads will lead down. But yeah, so, taking care of myself and kind of getting my ducks in a row before depending on someone else or something else. It's pretty empowering. It's pretty powerful. So in closing, I just want you guys to know that if you ever have any questions or any concerns about where you're at, where you're going, what opportunities maybe are out there, you can always reach us at the link underneath the video. And then I am also on Twitter and Facebook, Heather Bown on Facebook, and then on Twitter it's Heather_E_Bown. More than happy to answer any questions. If you just want to chat, if you just need a friend, I love chatting. I love being friends. So I'm your girl. And I just, anything you guys are dreaming of doing, believe in yourself. And, I've learned too, sometimes the negative criticism is actually a very powerful driver in motivating you to be better. It doesn't always have to be positive motivation. And I've had these conversations with numerous professional athletes, and a lot of them that are at the top level, along with the positives, is the negatives that drive them on a daily basis to be the best that they can be. There's always going to be naysayers. There are always going to be people who don't believe you can do it, but you can. I mean, if it's in your heart and you want to do it, go for it 100%. I mean, it's up to you. And, like my grandma used to say, like, take care of yourself. And, I believe in you guys. So if you ever need anything, please reach out and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I would love the connection.